cues for the arm and torso action. Now this is where the magic really happens with rocking horse. Rocking horse, there's a lot of upper body.
A teaching point for the arms is to indicate for people to throw themselves forwards. I find it's easier to cue people to apply themselves with a forward action because then they'll pull themselves back far enough to be able to throw themselves forward. It's a bit like when you throw a ball. It's called the preparatory action, where you prepare to throw the ball, so you take it back in the opposite direction of where it's going to go, and then you slingshot it forwards. It's exactly the same thing with a rocking horse. Get them to throw forwards because then they'll pull back with more power. So let me show you what that looks like when I focus on throwing myself forwards. And the really cool thing about throwing yourself forwards is it activates the abdominals so much more. So if you want to get abdominal training with the rocking horse, because it is a great abdominal exercise, indicate that they need to throw themselves forward. So throw yourself forwards and then pull back, but not pull back gently. Throw yourself forwards, throw yourself forwards. So that's the cue that you want to use when you're teaching rocking horse. And it gets people's bodies to go back and forwards, and that's what you want. You don't want people to stay still, their torsos to go up. With a rocking horse, you want the torso to go back and to go forwards. And it's important as an instructor that you demonstrate that when you're doing the big rocking horse. When you're doing the smaller, faster version, that changes. You want the body to stay pretty much stable and not going forwards or back at all, because it's all about powering the arms forwards and back, and the legs to rock back and forth as well. The torso needs to stay still. Rule of thumb, when you go big, your torso may move more. When you go short and fast, your torso stays more stable.
And that's really interesting, because I think that, I don't know how many of you would talk about abdominals with rocking horse, or would necessarily talk about the speed. So there's a couple of ways that you can encourage your participants to work their abdominals. And I don't do ab exercises in the pool. I look at exercises that participants do regularly in any water class, and I work out what muscle groups are focused when you do it with enough emphasis, enough power. So that throwing forwards requires you to activate your abdominals. So if you want to demonstrate it, what you're going to do is you're going to pull back and you're going to throw forwards. And you've got to ask the participants to try and drag more water forwards, thrust their bodies forwards, and emphasize the forward action, because they will pull back. They'll do that preparatory action, which is the pull back, to be able to slingshot their bodies forward again. It's not dangerous, like some people say, oh, what about backs? No, because the arms are doing the work. The torso's just going forwards. It's not about back. Your back's not going to feel anything. Try it in the pool first before you decide to make those sorts of statements. Of course, if you're demonstrating it on land, you may find that you feel a little bit more in your back because you don't have the support of the water, and you also weigh your entire body weight, right, when you're on land. But do indicate that they need to go forwards. Get them to pull their arms forward and drag back. Pull their arms forward and drag back. Tell them to make sure that they can feel it in the abdominals. Now, if you're doing the short, fast ones, and we're going to talk about the short, fast ones a little bit more, the body stays still. Because you can't be thrusting the body forwards and back if you want to pick up the tempo. And we're going to talk about how the levers do change when you decide to go with the faster version of the rocking horse, which is an effective exercise. Okay, so I like changing levers because we start working slightly different muscle groups when we do that.